Hey everybody, welcome back to another Pitching Ninja's Filthiest Pitches of the Day. Remember, before we get to those pitches, hit that subscribe button. We're almost at 100,000 and we need you on board. So hit subscribe, and without further ado, here are my filthiest pitches of the day. I'm going to start with Dakota Hudson. He had 6 Ks in 7 innings thanks to these wicked breaking balls. Jeffrey Springs had 5 Ks in 6 scoreless innings. He had this dirty changeup, and he's been really good this year. His ERA, 1.62. Pay attention to him. Kyle Wright had 7 strikeouts in 8 innings. He has a 35% whiff rate on his breaking ball, and looking at these, you can see why. They are filthy. Darvish threw 7 scoreless innings and had pretty much all of his pitches working, but my favorite pitch from his outing was his 92-mile-an-hour splitter. Look at that thing disappear. This was one of his 6 strikeouts. Pitching is getting ridiculous, and one of the best at exemplifying this is Graham Ashcraft. I mean, a lot of you guys probably haven't even heard of him. This dude is throwing 100 miles an hour with 98 mile an hour and 100 mile an hour cutters, 88 mile an hour sliders, and just plain old filth. Look at this 98 mile an hour sinker. Disgusting. He's a rookie and he's only going to be getting better. This stuff is off the charts. His ERA on the season, 1.14. The combo of him and Hunter Green, man, the Reds have some young pitching. Speaking of absurd pitching, Edward Cabrera was back on the bump yesterday, and his 94 and 95 mile an hour changeups came along with him. These young pitchers are literally changing the game. Just look at the movement on those changeups. His ERA on the season, 0.75, and the whiff rate on his changeup is 45%, and you can see why. Tarik Skubal had 9 Ks thanks to his sliders, changeups, and fastball. And look at this 91 mile an hour slider. This is one of the filthiest pitches of the night. Skubal's got a 2.33 ERA this year and has been so good. The dude pitches like a vet already. Alek Manoah is undoubtedly one of my favorite pitchers to watch. And he had these beautiful front door two-seamers. I mean, they don't get much prettier than that. Manoah is a beast. His ERA on the season, 1.81. Speaking of beasts, Michael Kopech had 8 Ks in 6 innings, giving up only 1 hit. His fastball slider combo, that's unfair. Look at this overlay and you can see what I'm talking about. Absolutely sick stuff. You can see why hitters are hitting 163 against his fastball and only 114 against his slider. Kopech's ERA on the season, 1.94. But my filthiest pitcher of the night wasn't one of these young guys. It was Justin Verlander. Verlander was filthy. He had 12 strikeouts in 7 innings thanks to his overpowering fastball and his breaking balls, both his curveball and his slider. The future Hall of Famer seems to be just getting better with age. His ERA this year, 2.13. And he's as dominant as he's ever been. Now on to my filthiest relievers. Emmanuel Clase's stuff, well, it was sick as usual. But as a pitching fan, you should never get used to a guy throwing 102 mile an hour cutters and 93 and 94 mile an hour sliders. Insane. Aaron Bummer had this ridiculous slider that had 21 inches of break. Look at this, it wraps around him. But my filthiest reliever of the night, that was Tanner Houck. I love Tanner Houck's sliders, and here are some of his best. And to really put a bow on how filthy this pitch is, here it is overlaid with a 95 mile an hour sinker. This sinker slider combo, I mean, that's almost a war crime. Look how far these pitches end up. Hitting is hard. And now, my Pitching Ninja moment of zen. This is one of the best plays I've ever seen a third baseman make, and it's by one of the best fielding third basemen of all time. Arenado is a stud. The athleticism and baseball IQ are off the charts.
He jumps like Derek Jeter and fires a strike to third.
The best.